I don't know what Pastor was talking about. I always have to worship. I just always have to worship. I can't sit down and play.
I'll help you with it.
Who is like unto thee? In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Please bear with me, it's my first time. When Pastor said, I shared something on Facebook and he said, you are going to have to speak about it, I'll give you 10 minutes. And then my heart skipped and I said, Pastor, you started again. And I think it was on Friday before I decided that, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. On Friday afternoon at work, I just started writing. I couldn't stop writing. So I knew that it must have been that God wanted me to share this. I tried not to tell my husband anything about it, just so that I didn't get influenced by him and just allow God to influence me. I'm going to read from Ruth today. Ruth chapter 1. Ruth chapter 1, I'm going to read from 1 to 18. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she has been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant each of you will find rest in the home of another husband. Just go. Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, we will go back with you to your people. But Naomi said, return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who will become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I'm too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me. At this they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even in death, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her, and I stopped my reading there. And the topic that I decided to share today was, it's titled Faith After Heartbreak. So I'm just going to build up like a quick story about Ruth. I think one of the reasons I picked, I just said to God that regarding this thing, heartbreak, who can I relate this to in the Bible? And so many names come up to you, David, people that have gone through temptations, through trials, through heartbreak, things that have happened to them, and then coming up after that to still trust in God. But this was the one that God spoke to me about, Ruth's story. And I sort of built like a history for Ruth. She's a Moabite, and that's from the people. I'm not a Bible scholar, but I believe it's from the people from when Lot's daughter slept with Lot, yes. And that's the people, that's the Moab tribe, that people. So probably when she was growing up, I don't know, maybe when she was younger, before she got married, she felt like there was a relation that, there's a way that she might be linked to the Messiah. I don't know, maybe something came up to her, or maybe she felt that something great is going to happen in her life. She wasn't really sure. This man, so many things had to be orchestrated for Elimelech to leave. There was a famine in the land. He came to the land, and he brought his 2 sons, and they got married to this Moabite woman, Orpah and Ruth. And I believe that a hope must have been born. This is because at a particular point, when she was speaking to her mother-in-law, I feel that Orpah didn't say the same thing. She said it with all conviction that your God will be my God, your people my people. There must have been a conviction in her heart for her to come up and say something like that. There has to be some promise that God has made to her. Or she has come to know God while married to the 2 men. She has come to understand who God is. And from that, she even despite the fact that all hope was lost. Her husband is dead. This woman, like she said, am I going to have children now? Then you now go, now come and marry them. It's not possible. It's not. It's not. It's hopeless. It's a hopeless situation. But still, she said she was going to follow back to her land, that her people, Naomi's people will be her people. She stuck on to this, and I believe it was God's promises that she was speaking on to. Now, I just want to, because I'm always a practical person, I just want to paint a practical scenario for us. Maybe you have a job interview, or you're hoping for an upgrade in life, you're hoping for something in life, or, perhaps when you were growing up, you knew that you were going to own, or God's promises to you was that you were going to own, a big conglomerate, an IT, huge company, and all you needed to do was to, apply for a loan from a bank to get the, to get the loan and start up the business. But prior to this, you started everything. At a point, you were not even IT literate, you started learning. At a point, you did the exams, you did everything, you were passing the exams, everything were just going, taking you to that step where you feel that God has promised for you to be. And then at the very end, just when it was about to click, or just when that loan was about to be approved, or just at the point when you've done first stage interview, second, third, you've seen the director, you've seen the CEO, you've seen everybody, it's just left for them to issue your contract. At the very end, you get a no. Everything just crashes around you. You know that, they say the door is open, there are many adversaries. You've gone, you've prayed, you've fasted, you've broken down the adversary, you've shut the mouth of the adversary. You can feel the confidence of God. You can feel the confidence that God is directing you through this path. But all of a sudden, everything that you feel that you've hoped for, or everything that you feel that you've been fighting for just comes crashing down around you. I wrote down a few things that people go through, aftermath of a heartbreak. I believe, like when we were reading the Bible passage we read, at the very end, Naomi, when she went back to Bethlehem, And they were all rejoicing that they had seen her. And all she was filled with was doom. Oh, I'm just coming back empty. She came back with Ruth. But to her, Ruth is nothing. I believe Ruth must have been married to the husband for a while. She had no child, neither did of her. So she was not coming back with anything. She's just coming back with this foreign lady. And she said, I've got nothing. The Lord, has dealt with me. Everything has crashed. They went somewhere where they felt they could find hope. But she came back desolate. So one of the things that you go through as a Christian, after a heartbreak, despite your strength, despite your faith in God, initially you'll be disillusioned. You don't be disillusioned about how did God let it happen. I mean, I have a friend, my sister has got a friend who is in hospital now, he's a doctor, and he was going home, driving one day, thieves followed him, stole the car and shot him on the leg, just above the thigh. Rajet is not in the house today, but you can just imagine the amount of fat there and the bone, and it's a gunshot wound. He's been in hospital for a while. He's a very, very strong Christian. Very strong Christian. But my sister says as she speaks to him, she Skypes with him sometimes, and she can feel the disillusionment on him, how he feels that, how did God let this happen to him? It's not the worst that could happen to him. He was bedridden for a while, but he wasn't, on crutches, or he's going to heal. He needs 3 months. Initially, he was healing and they had to break the bones again and restart it because he wasn't well set. So all through this period, you could see him being so disillusioned. He's a strong man of God, all these people that were pastors and fellowship. He still is. But you could tell how disillusioned he was. How did God let this happen? After everything. Because I don't think it's God's plan for me to be this bedridden for this period. He happens to be like the breadwinner of the family. He's not working. So he's just... So you go through disillusionment. You go through disbelief. I think one of the things is when something that you're really pushing for doesn't come through, one of the things you go through as well is disbelief. No, it didn't just happen. Maybe I should. No, I have to try that. You have like 5,000 other options, but you start trying them, and for some reason, everything just shuts down. When there's no loophole, there's nothing you can even get through. It's just like God is saying, not now. Just not now. Despite the fact that you felt it was now. So everything just comes crashing. So one of the things you go through is disbelief. No, I think there's still something else. Let me try it. No. And then you just struggle round and round. Another thing is shock. That it has even happened at all. And all these things, we go through it. It might take some people a day. It might take some people a week. It might take some people a year to go through all these feelings, but it's one of the things we go through. And I just thought I would share with us today on how to get our faith back even after a heartbreak. It could be several heartbreaks, it could be one big thing you're hoping to God for. We all know that there's nothing you hope in God for that is going to make you 100% content whilst here on earth. That's the truth. I think we need to all come to that realization. Even if you have a spiritual gift, so you are a choir, member of the choir, and your belief has always been to be like Sinach or something. Even when that happens, you want to be bigger. Maybe why not Ron Canoli? Why not Donny McCloskey or someone? So our heart desires will always increase. So just for sharing on how we can get faith after heartbreak. And one of the things I've written down, I've written just 5 points. God give me speed because I talk too much. The first one is overcoming doubt. Now, when something has happened to you, or you feel that God has been silent, which God isn't. God isn't silent. He's never silent. He's there. He's not just ignoring you, he's there. So one of the things we need to get over is doubt. So for example, you've been hoping on a job as a CEO of a company. Now, it has all come crashing down. A few of your enemies have laughed. See, I told you that job is too much. Try and get managing director first. Then you get this one, then grow. Work in the business at least 15 years before you start thinking of setting up an IT company. What do you have? What experience do you have? Those thoughts that came to your mind, those words that came to your mind whilst you were still believing God before it crashed, all of a sudden you start to entertain those words again. Doubt sets in. You start to limit God. And one thing I always say is that, why would you give up on something when God hasn't given up? If God hasn't given up, then we can't give up. If God drops the towel and says, you know what, this your situation is so bad, there's nothing I can do. Even when it comes to our health, this thing is so much, I can't heal you again. I've healed and healed and healed. It's okay, just, let it go like that. When God says that, then we are allowed to give up. But God will never say that. God will never give up. So we cannot give up. We cannot give up. So don't entertain doubt. Don't entertain doubt at all. I'll read James 1, verse 6 to 8.
James
1, 6 to 8. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I mean, the truth is that these things, you've already applied it from the beginning before the heartbreak. I'm not going to doubt. 100% faith, Father. I believe it. And I can see it. You even go to the vicinity. That thing, maybe it's a place you are planning to rent with the money you got from the bank. You walk around the building, you've broken down the walls of Jericho, you've done it. No doubt in your mind, but still it broke down. So then, those doubts start to come again. But we just have to remember the word of God, that you cannot entertain any level of doubt. You can't entertain doubt. So the first point is overcoming doubt. The second one is rebuilding your confidence in God. One of the things I was saying to my husband is that when we go through heartbreak or we go through something, I keep calling it heartbreak, like when you're in love and have heartbreak. But it's the feeling, the way you feel in your heart, how your heart just skips, and you're just so, you feel destroyed, like, you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing in your mind, you sleep at night, the last thing in your mind. So rebuilding your confidence in God. For example, the person that wanted the business, do you know another brother in the house? Somebody, even if you are not close to the person, that God has given that same thing that you're asking for. There's nothing uncommon under the sun. Who is it? What is it that we are going through today that we can say is specifically me? It's just me that is feeling this. Nobody. No. Everything that we're going through. Tomorrow someone is going to go for a job interview. After tomorrow, 50,000 people are applying for jobs at every second. If you go and read your Monster, you see how many people have viewed the jobs like you and how many have applied. You see 2,500. One stupid job like that. You see. So people are applying for it. People are doing things. Whatever it is, people are starting companies. People are registering companies every day on companies. So whatever it is that you are going through, look around, see if there's a brother. Is there somebody that is as successful as you want to be? Is there somebody in the line that you want to be? I'm not even talking about you going to meet them to start getting advice. I'm trying to say, just look at them and get your confidence in God. That if God has done it for this person, He will do it for me. He will do it for me. I'm going through my own heartbreak now. It looks like everything has shattered and, how do I climb up from this? Oh, He has done it for this person. Maybe they've gone through their own 10,000 heartbreaks. You might not know. Maybe they didn't even go through heartbreak. It just went one thing, two things, three things, but God did it for them. It doesn't matter how He did it for them. The fact that He's done it for them, He will do it for you. I tried to write an exam, you want to pass, you want to. There are people that qualified at 22, qualified at 23, for exams that you think are too tough. People that have bought houses. I have people in my team, they bought houses. One girl, she's alone, broke up with her boyfriend, bought a house. She's not even a believer. But if you want to rebuild our confidence in God, we go to our believer brothers. Do you know somebody in the house of God who you know is worshiping God, who God has blessed with the same blessings that you want, that you have suffered heartbreak for? Rebuild your confidence in God. God will do it. You are going through heartbreak. It's normal because you are human. But you have to rebuild your confidence in God. Remember, you've overcome doubt. You need to overcome doubt in your mind. Don't let it take you a day. Don't let it take you a week, a year. No, it's just a waste of time. Immediately, it's difficult because, like I said, it's a heartbreak. But you have to rebuild your confidence in God. Don't give up. Just don't give up. God has not given up. So don't give up. Hebrews 11:1 that says, faith is confidence in what we hope for. But we can't see it, but we just hope for. You just have to rebuild your confidence. I mean, if you go back to the book of Ruth, the way she said to me, because that part just, when I read the whole of Ruth, I've read it so many times over this last 2 days, and how she had so much confidence, told Naomi that your people will be my people. I mean, those of us that are married here, we understand how it is to leave your family and go and stay with your husband. Especially those of us that, my husband was here, don't take your eyes off, he was here. I came all the way from Nigeria here to meet him. When I got the visa, he said, don't let the devil use you, start coming now. I mean, to him, it's like, you just come and take care of me. All of my parents, people that I've lived with for years and years. And we know how difficult it is, even if they live just across the street from you. But just to leave and come to a foreign land to stay with a man, to come and to leave. Fair enough, Ruth and Orpha did not leave, they were with their people. But now her husband is dead. The link she has to this man is gone. This woman, there's nothing else that this woman can offer her. But she clung to her and said, your people will be my people. Perhaps she had started to experience God whilst married to this man. She has started to experience God. She has started to experience His power. She knows that this is the true living God. This is where her destiny lies. Despite the heartbreak, she's lost her husband. This woman does not even want her. Eventually, when she followed the woman to her land, the woman said, I didn't bring anything. I brought nothing. I went out with people. I came back with nothing. She came back with a whole human being who cried and begged. She said, I came back with nothing. Nothing. Ruth is nothing to me. She just followed me like house girl. Let her shall come. I don't have anything to do. Ruth must have believed in something. There was despite the heartbreak of losing her husband, of all the things that she feels she has hoped for being gone, she had confidence in God. We need to find out, you need to rebuild your confidence in God. And the third one I wrote down is finding your peace and courage. Finding your peace and courage. You need to find peace. You need to find peace. Peace that passes all understanding. You need to find your peace. You need to find your peace. Because I feel devil is the stealer of peace. The devil wants to come and attack anybody. The first thing he will take away is your peace. Your heart will just be restless. Your soul, your spirit will just be disturbed. You can't sleep, you can't rest. You're trying to find avenues, you're trying to find ways. What else can be done? Even after everything, before you know it, you start going through career ways. You start going through ways just to try and see what, how can we work this thing out? It just takes away your peace. You need to find your peace. You need to find your peace. I wrote down that you need to accept God's sovereignty whilst finding your peace. That's one of the things I think we as Christians probably struggle with. God's sovereignty. Why did God let it happen? It's just like I say when you are disillusioned after something bad has happened. Why did God let it happen? This is not what you told me. This is not what you told me. I knelt down and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. Then I fasted. And I did dry fasting. As Pastor says, you felt it when you are praying, Sometimes when I'm praying and I'm worshiping and I start calling Jesus just continuously for minutes, and I'm like, yes, I'm connected, and you just feel it and see everything shattered. All of a sudden you lose your peace because you say that could happen. If God allowed it to happen, you're still a Christian, you still believe in Him, but you probably just don't believe He's ready to do that thing that you want Him to do. You just lost your confidence in God. You feel you've lost everything. You still believe, but you just feel you've lost everything. You need to find your peace. Can I have Romans 15:13 on the screen? Thank you. Now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing that ye may abound in hope through the power of the Holy Ghost. The God of hope will fill you with all joy and peace in believing. He will just fill you with joy and peace. Somehow you have to find your peace. The way to find your peace, you have to read the Word of God. You have to go back to His promises. Forget the heartbreak. Cry if you want. Moan if you want. Complain if you want in front of God. But just find your peace. Ask God for peace. Peace that passes. What's that song? Comforter, that's who you are to me. Comforter, the name that speaks on perfectly. Peace that passes all understanding. Comforter, that's who you are to me. Just nobody else. Nobody else. I think one of the mistakes we make as well is when we are really hoping on God for something. Somehow, gradually, little by little, we start to attach our joy to that thing. Our joy in God is as if it's gone. We start to tie our joy to that thing. We are praying, thank you, God, but no longer is your peace in God. No longer is your joy in God. It's in that thing. When that thing comes true, hey, me, in this life, your joy is tied to that thing. And probably that is the reason we even go through that heartbreak. Because if your joy is in God, God never leaves you. He's always with you. So therefore, you can never suffer that heartbreak in the first place. But once your joy is tied into that thing, that's when it all starts. So first of all, the thing you need to do is the fact that you suffer that heartbreak means that your joy is not in God. Go and find that joy in God. Find your peace in God. Find your peace in God. Find your peace in God. It's hard. But you have to find your peace in God. Remove your joy from that thing, because if not, it will destroy. It will destroy. Find your peace in God. The next point I have is holding on to His promises. I want to talk about, since I read the whole of it, I might as well just share the story. It was so interesting when I read it, how who knew that Boaz was like an older man? I didn't know that. I just found that out. It was like an older man compared to Ruth. And when Naomi took Ruth down to Bethlehem with her, suddenly this lady became like a source of hope for her, because she's too old to work, but Ruth went out to the fields and started working. She just chose a random place. It's not like she was specifically going to Boaz, who is actually a descendant of Elimelech, Naomi's husband. But she got there, and she started threshing the field, started doing things. And when Boaz came to the field, he went and asked somebody, who is that woman? He said, who is that woman? What is she doing there? There are many women. He said, who is that woman there? What is she doing? What is she doing there? She's come to thresh the fields, and she's been here since morning. She's been so hard working and all. He said, that's good. That's good. Then he called her, started to talk to her. Keep doing what you are doing. Your mother-in-law, I've heard that he said, keep doing what you are doing and stuff. And she said, why do I find favor in you so much? And he said, I've heard about how you've been taking care of your mother-in-law, how you've been doing things. That's good, keep doing it, and may you find favor. And when he invited Ruth, she ate with him, took some of the food. You see, this girl is, to me, I was just thinking, this is just a good daughter-in-law. There's no reason for her to be good to Naomi anymore. The man that she married, that link is gone. But she took some food, took it to Naomi, and Naomi asked her, and she said, oh, I was in the field of a man called Boaz. And I'm sure the hope lit up in Naomi once again. He favored you, did all this thing for you. Let me see how I can orchestrate this thing. Let's see how it will work. And then eventually, Naomi said to Ruth, go back, since you found favor on this one, go back and lay back down near his feet. And it was sort of something that shouldn't happen naturally. But she went, she did it, and when Boaz woke up and saw her, why have you done this? And she sort of, to me, I said she proposed to him, because she said, this one that you are the redeemer of the family, like I heard from my mother-in-law. Maybe you stretch your own thought of redeemer to me as well. And he said, okay, I've heard you. There's somebody else who, if he was going to redeem you, will stand in my stead, because I'm not maybe the oldest in the family, or I'm not next in line. And from that period, she went back to Naomi, and I could immediately see the hope come back in Naomi's heart about this situation, that maybe something can still happen. You have to bear in mind that when she was married to Naomi, Ruth was married to her son. She had no children. They were in that land for 10 years. I don't know when they got married. But it was 10 years, they had no children. So what hope does she have that even if anything can come out from Ruth? But the hope was born once again. I believe at that point, Naomi was holding on to the promises of God. I believe at that point that Ruth were holding on to the promises of God. Despite the fact that they went back to ground zero, they were starting from scratch again. And there was a point, this thing hit. After the 10 years in Moab and all through this period, they had nothing. At the very end, when Boaz went to meet the family people, he called the family people, was being very wise about it, and said, I'm not the one that is meant, there's a land belonging to Elimelech, who is the husband of Naomi. There's a land belonging to him that someone needs to take over, but I'm not the rightful person to take over it. Let this man, who is the rightful person, let him take over it. And he said, okay, yes, I'll take over it. It's land now, who doesn't like landed property? And he said, if you take over the land, as this girl that comes with the land, you have to marry her. And help to maybe continue the bloodline of Elimelech. And the guy stood back and said, no. It's like that one was going to be too much than my power. I don't want the land again. Then if he comes with this body, roots to him was a body. He said, no, I don't want. Boaz was happy. That's what he wanted in the first place. He was just trying to put it that let's do it the right way. So Boaz said to the others that you can all hear. Ruth, this guy says he doesn't want the land with Ruth, but I don't mind. I'm next in line. I'll take over this thing he says is a body. And in those days, when I was reading that part, I remember Brother Mike, where he removed the sandal and gave the sandal, and they're passing sandal to each other. And that's just showing like some Jewish tradition to say, I've relinquished this thing to you. And Boaz went away. Prior, when all this was happening, and Ruth went to her mother-in-law, the mother-in-law said to her that, he said he wants to speak to people, don't worry. And she said something, where was it? 1 second, please. I need to find it. Because I really liked it. Ruth 3:18. Thank you. Then said she, sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he has finished this thing today. Until the thing this day. So, despite all the delays, despite the wait, on that day, once God started to move, Naomi said to her, don't worry, today, this whole thing will be settled. So despite the delay, eventually when God moves, even if it is 12 midnight, if he moves at 10 o'clock, not a full testimony, but when my husband got this current job, the person called him early in the morning, like 7 a.m., immediately starts to move. God will move at any time. But once he starts to move, there's no more delay. No more delay. He will just start. You too, you will know. Despite the heartbreak, when your time comes, God's timing is just the best. I know it's a cliche, God's timing is the best, God's timing. But when God starts to move, there's no more delay. That day, the person who holds your favor, the person who is meant to be your helper, or the people who are meant to allow for things to happen for you, spiritual things, material things, doesn't matter. The minute God starts to move, there will be no more delay. It will happen. That person will just not find rest until that day. Nothing, no situation will find rest until that thing happens. Until that day. So hold on to his promises. Hold on to his promises. God's will will always come back. The whole words in the Bible, everything that God has said concerning us, not even one thing will go past without it coming to pass. There's one passage I always read in Isaiah 60, where he said, instead of disgrace, you will receive double portion. Double portion. I will claim it that I've been heartbroken and it feels like the devil is trying to tell me this thing won't happen. But instead of disgrace, because this thing is not disgrace, it's just a shortfall in between. It's not disgrace. Because God said, I will not be disgraced. I will not be ashamed. I will receive double portion and I will inherit the land. Therefore, it will come to pass. If God didn't want it to happen, He won't say it in His words. He won't say it. The fact that He said it, I will believe in it and I will hold on to it. I will hold on to it, regardless of how shaken I am. I will hold on to it. Even if thousands are falling on my side, 10,000, regardless, I will stay standing. I will hold on to God's promises. I will hold on to God's promises. And then the final point that I would like to share is Thanksgiving. To be honest, that's the biggest one of it. And it's probably the hardest. How do you say thank you to someone? Or how do you give praises at a time when your heart is broken? You just lost a loved one. or you've just lost a marriage, or you just lost a business, everything has just gone bust, just right in front of you. You know how things happen. It's so bad, like I said, I just keep going back to disillusionment, but how you keep looking back. Did that just happen? How do you go from there to praising God? How do you go from there to thanksgiving? How do you go from there to thanksgiving? Can I have Philippians 4, verse 6 on the screen? Thank you. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. In tears, give thanks. With a heartbreak, give thanks. Your heart shattered, you feel that you just cried a whole bucket load of tears. Just give thanks. It's hard. Get up from your bed. If you want to lay down on your bed, just get up. Shame the devil. Just imagine, if you can't visualize the devil, visualize your enemies. You know those people that you know that they're just working against you. Visualize them. Just imagine they are there. And you want to start laughing at this your down. Just start praising God. My God, do one for me. Just start praising. Just visualize them. Imagine that they're like a circle around you. Sometimes that's what I do. Like they failed. Hey, you failed. Even though I'm going, yes, hey, Jesus. Just find it. By the time you do it for a week, it's funny. By the time you do it for a week, go to joy, because go to joy and peace. It's the only one. I don't know if anyone's gone through moments where you are so sad. All of a sudden, you remember something joyful and you smile again, and you are happy. It's God's peace. It's God's joy and peace. I tell you, unbelievers don't feel that. They don't know what that means. That's why even if we get depressed, we come out of it. Because God, He brings us back. If unbeliever gets depressed, that depression will take them to the very end, and that's the truth. There's no way they keep taking drugs that will have side effects to the very end. But when we go through setbacks like that, it's God that is our joy. It's the one that brings us back. So regardless of how down you feel now, just keep giving thanks, because you will find that joy and peace again. When you are crying, giving thanks. You wake up in the morning, you don't feel like doing, just giving thanks. Praise the Lord. Lord, I just worship you. It didn't happen like that. But I know your timing is the best. I know that you are still working everything for my good. It will still work out. It looks like it won't. But somehow, God, I'll find my joy, I'll find my peace. Because the devil will not win this battle. He won't win the battle over me, and he won't win the battle over my soul, my heart, where joy is supposed to reside. I won't wake up in the morning and be sad because of what? No. No. Because he is not the owner of my soul. The owner of my soul says I should be joyful and peaceful. I receive his joy. I take it. I take it. Conscious effort. You wake up in the morning and you pray. You worship God. You praise his name. You just give him thanksgiving. Trust me. Immediately the devil is sad once again. He can't believe that after this heartbreak you are standing. After all that you've gone through, you are still here. Still worshiping God. Still praising his name. Still doing things. He starts to get scared of you. This one, nothing moves this one again. He starts to get scared of you. Make the devil scared of you. Despite the heartbreak, find your joy, find your peace. Give thanksgiving. Give thanksgiving. I wrote down some things here. I said God qualifies the unqualified. We do know that at the very end when Ruth got married. I mean, I'm done with my points. I'm just buttressing on what I read. We know how Ruth, being a Moabite and from the lineage that she was from, how she gave birth in the end through Boaz to, when she got married to Boaz, she gave birth to Obed. And Obed is the father of Jesse, and Jesse is the father of David. So her son was the grandfather of David, if that's correct. And that's one of the greatest kings of Israel. My husband loves David. David does no wrong in my husband's eyes. So she was basically the great grandma of David. This woman that followed Naomi, and they said, I came with nothing. Human being standing next to me. She said, I came with nothing. Nothing. She was a nothing. At a point, they even rejected her. Said that she's coming with a land. Maybe the land can even bear fruit, but at least I don't want this one. Maybe he was married. They didn't tell us if he was married already. But when I think about the fact that Boaz was an older man, he was about to take this responsibility, but he didn't mind. So, regardless of your heartbreak or what you are going through, just always believe in the promises of God. God's timing is the best. He qualifies the unqualified. You are having faith for a job that you're already qualified for. To me, that's no more faith. Even unbelievers do that. They drop CV in front of people, all the jobs, all the different qualifications they've done. Sometimes you see some people's job specs, you see some job specs, you even laugh. Sometimes I do it, I say, this job, I know I can get it. If I apply and they'll call me. I know I don't want it, I just apply. 2 minutes, I don't want. How much is it? I don't want. You know, that's no more faith. But having faith for something that you feel you are not qualified for, it happens. There are people that don't have any. What got Barack Obama to who he is today? Was he really qualified for it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know if he's a child of God, I don't think so. And much less an unbeliever. So even if you are not qualified for things, believe in it. If God has promised you that you're going to be the CEO of an IT company, even right now you're not even IT literate. MS Word to use is hard. But God has told you, just keep believing. Despite the hard way, keep believing. I believe like Boaz was, he was a redeemer. He was a redeemer for what Naomi said was always a redeemer of our tribe. And that's exactly what he came to be. And when the time happened for him to favor, it happened. So whoever God has put in place to favor us, whoever God has put in place to be our helper, when the time comes, the person will rise up. The person will rise up for us. At the end of the day, all glory belongs to God. Just remember, find your peace. Everybody goes through heartbreak. Just remember that there's one thing you take from here today or from me that I'm trying to communicate is that we all go through heartbreak. We all go through those times that it's big setbacks in our life. Maybe you are hoping for a big thing or a small thing. Just remember that all glory belongs to God. At the end of the day, God will always come through. In Jesus' name, amen. In Jesus' name, Lord, we worship you. We thank you, Father God, for this word today. I thank you, Father God, because I feel as blessed and I'm hoping that someone has been blessed today. We pray, Father, that in the name of Jesus, as we've heard these words, you will heal us of all our heartbreak in Jesus' name. You will make your word through once again in our lives in Jesus' name. We bind every spirit of doubt. We bind every spirit of distrust in our lives in Jesus' name. Help us to find joy and peace on earth. Help us to find joy and peace in what we do. Despite what we go through, Father, we know you are always here for us, and we know that we are always connected to you. Help us, Father God, to keep studying your word, to keep praying, to keep thanking you, Father God, because what we have today has all been because of you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.